What's really interesting about their business is they've looked at this wide thing called web content management, and this is a huge space, and they've said, look, I want to, I can do perfect at this piece of it. So here's where the players that are already doing things aren't doing them well. So let me come in here, let me show them how to do it right, and let me be successful at it. And then let me work out partnerships. And oftentimes people say, partnerships, come on, you're not going to be able to partner with IBM. They have no interest. Or Oracle, these guys are players. And they found a way to basically say, if I create quality product, put it in the space and make it available and do it in the right way, people will start to partner. And not only did they do that, to me, that's fascinating point number one. Fascinating point number two to me in terms of this business is they've gone after open source and they've said this is a way to grow the marketplace. This is a way to grow awareness. So whereas you might argue, why would you make your, you're in the software business and you're making your software available to the marketplace, they've said, in fact, the opposite. If I make it available to the marketplace, if I put my software out there, it'll build my brand equity, it'll build my brand name, it'll build my relationship with the industry, and ultimately I'll win, and they're finding that success.
All right, a little more about that. You and I both hit him up with some questions in the middle of the interview about what's happening in the marketplace. But when that happens and the changes that he's made, this company's been around for 12 years. They've made a lot of changes, but the most recent changes they've made, they looked at what was happening in the marketplace. They tried to capitalize on it, but they really focused on what they did well or started thinking about things that they do well. And that's, I think, part of the biggest challenges for a lot of companies. You see what's out there, you see the opportunity, but if it's not something that you do well, or if you don't hyper-focus on what you do well and define that, you can find yourself fishing in a lot of different ponds.
And I think it's probably more than just what you do well, it's also where can you compete. So I think if you actually
ask
them,
Isn't that the same thing?
Maybe, maybe not.
Because if you're not doing it well, how are you going to compete?
But you may be able to do other things well where you may not be able to compete. Andrew may say, you know what, Butch, I actually could have built the best web content management system out there. My product could have been as good, if not better, than Oracle's and or IBM's and or so on, but I would have a tough time competing. So if I pick this piece, I attack this part, I can compete and I can win. So let me focus on that and focus on that first. It's both sides of it. People often say just do what you do well and the world will come. It's not build it and the world's going to come. It just doesn't work that way. But if you find a place where you can compete, find a place where you can be successful, and then build your product for that, then build your marketplace for that, that's where you can be successful. That's where they're seeing the win, and I congratulate them.
Andrew Roberts was our guest today on this edition of CEO Corner. If you would like to see the interview, parts of it, if you'd like to comment about it, go to the Pulse on Business. You can find it up there. Check us out at thepulsenetwork.com. And you can